So I'm finally back with a simple recommend. No trailer reaction, no lists, no big movie review for the week. No, just a simple good old horror movie surprise. So I was I was perusing, I was looking for a horror film to watch at the end of the night last night. And I came across somewhat a pleasant surprise. Now, this movie has issues, and it will have many an issue with many a people. But I was not one of those folks because what I saw was a very clear homage to a film from the 70s that a lot of film buffs like myself really enjoyed. And that movie is Duel, Steven Spielberg's first actual feature film. And if you know anything about like just hanging around the channel, is that I myself really enjoy road horror films. Not because they subvert the genre, but because it's a very niche part of the genre that doesn't get a lot of contribution. You have Duel, you have The Hitcher, both versions. You have Joyride, you have things like Wolf Creek, you have films like Passenger, which was I was one of 5 people on the entire planet who thought it was a really good road horror, but nonetheless, I don't look for this genre to subvert any expectations. I actually like the tropes in this genre extra tropey in this subgenre of horror. Road horror, don't know why, don't even know where it began. There is no story, there is no special once upon a time. I just really love road horror slashers, creature features, things like Splinter, being on a road trip and getting stuck in a gas station while this weird fucking entity just ruins your day. I think there's something about, I love the road. I love the idea of like being in a van and living that life. Like a lot of us probably dream of that life right the fuck now. I dream about that life once every second of the day. And so there's something to be said about a film, no matter in what shape the threat comes, that personifies the isolation of the road, and the everydayness of just people on it, whether they're in the car because they need to drive or they need to go to work or they're on vacation. Like having something happen to you on the way in transit to somewhere else, that completely turns your life around is just kind of a deeper metaphor than people are bothering to give credit for. So I really love road slashers. I love The Hitcher. I love the original. I love the remake. I think it's such a cool, simplistic concept. I also think the simplicity of this subgenre, isn't for everybody. It is not deep. If you look at Duel, for some people, it's a very boring film. It's literally a guy just getting bullied by a truck driver the whole fucking time. And you're just like, why don't you just take that fucking truck and run the fucking guy over and end the movie? And you really have to be susceptible to fear for those kinds of films to work for you, right? Like I'm not someone who's easily frightened, so the concept of someone on the road is not so much scary on the screen, but I think just the unpredictable nature and the sort of relatable idea of just being on the road and something bad happening, or just typically when these films are done well, like The Hitcher. The Hitcher's just cool because it's just a guy. And you don't know what he's doing. You just get this feeling because he repeats this line over and over again, which is, I want to die, right? And he makes his victims try to say it too. And it's like he has this obsession with death, but that's all you know about the guy. That's all you know about The Hitcher, both in the remake and the OG. And it's just this guy you know nothing about who could be anyone, and then this college kid who's just trying to get home. You know, it's simple, and it's all about the chase. And it's all about the tension. It's all about the buildup. It's all about the atmosphere. I mean, these films just, I don't know, they're feel good movies for me. Jeepers Creepers, can't forget that. Come on, first one, incredible road horror movie. Probably, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best road horror. It's probably up there with The Hitcher. I really have a soft spot for Jeepers Creepers 1. So that goes without saying. This movie is not going to be for everybody. The movie follows this Uber driver. I think it's not Uber Eats. It's Squirrel Eats or some shit. And he's in this small snowy town, very isolated, very small. I forgot what it was called. Like fuck. One of you probably seen it and will let me know. He's in a small town and he owes money to some people. But he also wants to use this money to buy himself a food truck and just have himself a little business. So, very simple premise. It's a little dream that he has that he wants to fulfill. And then you have him owing people this money within like 24 hours. He has 24 hours to pay these people $4,600 something dollars. That's what's left. And, he's on the road and he gets stalked by a man with a plow, with a snow plow. And that's it. That's the story. That's all. That's the story. The movie is an hour and 21 minutes, 24 minutes. And it moves at the regular pace that you would expect these movies to, just like Duel, just like Hitcher, just like Jeepers Creepers. Much shorter than any of those. More in line with, I believe, if I'm correct, Duel is about an hour and 11 minutes. And that was originally much shorter until the production studio told him, if you want this to be in theaters and a feature, we need more. So this movie is short. It does not overstay its welcome or outstay its welcome. Like, it is perfect runtime. It has all of the little tidbits and the moments of like that you expect from these movies. I'm being hunted by this guy who just keeps annoyingly honking or looking at me and watching me from afar. It has all those tropes. Again, I like this genre for the tropes, and the tropier they are, the more I like them. They're just kind of feel good movies. So this movie has its tropes. I will say that what it does well. I think the snowy town is an awesome place to make. It's a different vibe. Usually it's a summer road somewhere in the desert or somewhere rural. Like, this is a snowy town. I thought that was a nice little change of pace from the usual setting that comes with these films. The plow is a unique vehicle. I think we've seen Jeepers Creepers van, right? The Wolf Creek guy's van looks like the Jeepers Creepers van. And then the Hitcher. It has every car he can find, but at the beginning he has a pretty badass muscle car. Duel, it's a truck. So a plow is like the next thing on the list that needs to be in one of these movies, and we have it. It is very intimidating. The cold open of this movie just shows you how like intimidating this plow is and how kind of creative it is to have as an enemy vehicle. I did enjoy that. It is very powerful, and they make sure you know it. I do believe that a lot of this movie set pieces are a little bit held back because of the budget, but at the same time that allows them to lean into very Hitchcockian shots, very Hitchcockian like influence moments of evasion. There are a couple of really good chase sequences, including one that involves like ice cracking while he's driving away from it, which I didn't expect. I was like, that's a really cool way to amp up the moment. There are a couple of on foot chases, and you do get a little bit of that towards like the beginning, the lair of the villain, and we get to see just how villainous this fucker is. If you're expecting anything more outside of like Rusty Nails from Joyride, this guy is no more interesting than Rusty Nails. Rusty Nails is more interesting because he's like the whole thing on his thing where he's like candy cane the whole time during the movie. Like, you hear that and you're like, oh, this guy really doesn't have that, except like no characteristic that really makes him scary or intimidating. He is a silent antagonist that has a shadow on the one half of his face, like all of them do, but the plow makes him interesting. They do something with his lair, showing you that he's been doing this, that makes him interesting. And in a snowy town, where snowy towns already have a lot of conspiracies about people disappearing and unsolved murders, this leans into that, and I think the lore around it is a little bit scarier, or a little bit more it's a little bit more paranoid infused than like anything else. The guy himself is not scary, but what he does with the plow, and when he's in the plow and you can't see him, that does a really good job of setting atmosphere, the way these movies should. At least at the very least, if your guy isn't scary, when he's in that truck or in that vehicle, he better be fucking terrifying. He better have a presence about him being inside of his Decepticon, you know what I mean? Like, and they did a very good job with that. The movie has problems where I was kind of to the point where I was like, am I going to review this or am I not? And it was these people he owes money to. These people he owes money to are just silly. You have the lead, she's very loud, very obnoxious. She's like flashing a gun in his face, like, you better give my fucking money. And then you got one guy that looks like fucking one of the Stooges on roids, and he's just kind of an idiot. And he's the music that plays while they're on screen is very much like quirky rom-com, almost Disney Channel music, and it made me roll my eyes so fucking bad because I was like, I'm gonna hate this. This had a really promising beginning. I'm going to hate this. Sure enough, they were able to push those characters to the side. They were actually just there to set up the stakes for the character and then set up extra body count, stack up an extra body count towards the end, which I didn't mind. But when they're on screen, they feel like they're part of a completely different movie, and I hated every second they were on except for the part where they got gutted like a fish. Speaking of the fish, this guy walking around with a fish in a little baggie full of water is kind of endearing, kind of sweet. You would talk to it while he's driving, talking about how fucked his life is, and I feel like it's just relatable. Uh, do I mean his life is fucked, or speaking to a fish? You will never know. But I think that there's some humor that hits here, and when the humor doesn't hit there, which is quite often, there is a moment. There's usually a moment of horror right behind. I think the lead here is just very endearing. He just had a whimsical, kind of dumb idiot, just trying to make it by average guy charm about him, and I enjoyed watching him on screen very much. I think he was a good reason why I made it to the horror bits. The horror bits are good. There's some really good shots here. There's a good buildup of tension. The plow is genuinely intimidating. There are some really good kills with this fucking plow. Don't get much more creative than running over people, but the way that it's shown, like no cutting back from it, the setup to it, like he uses the shit out of that plow shovel fantastically. There's a cool scene with a very much a cool scene with a phone booth, and I think the chase at the end was excellent. I really do, especially acknowledging that this movie probably had a very severely short budget, but I don't know. I felt like even by those standards, this movie could have easily been on theaters, just like any other road horror that has made it to theaters. It's not gonna change your perspective on road movies if you already think they're kind of boring and they're kind of flat. Hell, it's not going to change your perspective if you thought Passengers was bad. But I think that if you like this subgenre, very subgenre niche side of horror, you're going to find something to love about it. And if you're a film dweeb like I am, and you like Duel, there are things stripped right out of Duel, put into this, made a little different, and thrown into a snowy town that I thought was just enough for me to go, like, you clearly have a love for Spielberg's first movie. You have a love for road horror, and I could see why it's on streaming. They probably weren't willing to bet on it, and fair enough. I don't think road horrors are safe films to bet on. Not every movie can be The Hitcher, Jeepers Creepers, or Joyride. And even Joyride, I feel like it's now getting the love it deserves. I watched it back when it came out in theaters in very early 2000s, and I adored that movie. And then it got like 3 really shitty straight to DVD movies without Paul Walker and without Steve Zahn that I was just like, well, what are these? And just like the redundant sequels that just kept coming for Wrong Turn, I didn't watch a single one of them. So anyway, that's my review for Delivery Run. I don't know if it's enough to convince you, but I'm just here to drop some opinions. If I did make you want to watch it, let me know how you felt about it when you watched it. Let me know how much you hated it or loved it. I'm just happy to have discovered something that I thought was worthy of a very small theater. I think I would absolutely show it up to the theaters and be like, this was fun. Had a good time. That is my review for Delivery Run on Amazon Prime. You can go and watch it. And that's it. Anyway, that's all I got for you. And as always, I'll see you at the movies.